What's good in the hood? Welcome back to Clown Questions, the show where there are no dumb questions. I'm your host, Matt Clown Emoji, and today I will attempt to answer the question, is the series over? I will also dive into that question with Dr. Jones, who's coming back for yet another interview, and it was a great one. So tune in and answer this question, who's down to clown?
That's a clown question, bro.
So, is the series over? In my mind, it is, but the old adage is the series doesn't start until the home team loses. So, we are going back to Dallas. The Boston Celtics are up 2-0 in the series. They have dominated the Mavs from start to finish in both of these games. It's looking bleak. And I talked to Nemo. Nemo FaceTimed me after game one. He said, "What'd I tell you?" Again, after game two, Nemo FaceTimed. He's like, "What did I tell you?" He said, "I got to come back on the podcast, to show everybody I told you so." I'm like, you know what? If the Celtics win, we're gonna have to go on Nemo and the Clownfish. He's gonna need a full, hour, 15 minutes to do this victory lap, probably longer. And I'm just gonna have to sit there and deal with it. So that's unfortunate. But hey, the series didn't start yet, so we still have a chance. The Mavericks can do this, but in reality, they can't. It's over. So I ask again: is the series over? I'm not talking about the NBA Finals. This time, I'm talking about the Stanley Cup Finals. Yes, I do talk about hockey. I actually did watch some of the game. Great game. Even though the Panthers destroyed them, I saw like 4 or 5 different fights in the third period alone. So that was entertaining. I'm starting to see the appeal of hockey a little bit. But the question is the series over? The Florida Panthers are currently up 2-0 on the Edmonton Oilers. But we're going back to Edmonton. The home team hasn't lost yet, so the series hasn't started. But like the question I answered before this, the series is over. 91% of teams that go up 2-0 in the Stanley Cup Finals end up going on to win the series. So Edmonton, they're going to need a lot from Connor McDavid and even more from everyone else. And they're going to need, at least 3 of those famous Oilers fans to motivate them to be able to come back from this 2-0 deficit. Doesn't sound like much, but when you got a goalie like Bobrovsky, name dropping hockey players, let's go. But when you got a guy like Bobrovsky, who I watched the game today, I swear I saw this dude make a save with his neck. It just went right into his face, essentially. He blocked the goal with this. It just incredible goaltending from Bobrovsky. Great defense from Florida, and Edmonton hasn't been able to stop them on offense either. So in my mind, this series is over. The other series is over. I love to overreact, and I'm gonna keep doing it because underreacting doesn't really make for an interesting podcast. So, congratulations to the Boston Celtics on winning the NBA Finals, and congratulations to the Florida Panthers on winning and hoisting the Stanley Cup. I got to give flowers where flowers are due. Speaking of flowers, give the whole country of USA a whole bushel of flowers because we know how to play cricket now, apparently. Which leads me to my question: was that the biggest upset in history? So, Team USA just recently defeated Pakistan in a cricket match at the T20 Cricket World Cup. I don't know anything about cricket. As little as I know about hockey, I know even less about cricket. I've been told it's similar to baseball. The bat is flat, and there's, instead of home plate, there's a wicket. Um, Still have no idea how the game is played. I put in the goosebump moments of the week. I don't know what's going on in the clip. But yeah, cricket looks fun. I feel like I would love playing the outfield, those diving catches. I like playing center field back in my heyday. But yeah, it could very well have been the biggest upset in sports history. Um, is it? Probably not, but you can make an argument because cricket is not the USA's sport, and we were not expected to beat a Pakistan team that that country lives and breathes and eats cricket. That sounded that doesn't sound right when I'm not I didn't say they eat crickets because that would have been a bad thing to say. Well, now I said it. But they love cricket. They love the sport of cricket. Damn, I gotta start editing these podcasts, but I won't until someone brings up this clip 30 years later out of context and I get in trouble for it. But the question was, this the biggest upset in history? Obviously, you got to compare it to the other ones. I don't think it's number one. I probably think number one is Miracle on Ice. A bunch of college kids on Team USA beating the entire Soviet Union in the biggest upset ever. But I'd want to go through a couple others that kind of came to mind. The New York Giants defeating the undefeated Patriots in the Super Bowl in 2007. Appalachian State over Michigan was a classic. Of course, we have Fairleigh Dickinson and UMBC, the first two teams to have the vaunted 16 seed over 1 seed upset. And then for the any of the soccer heads, how improbable Leicester City's um, run and win of the Premier League title was. So the cricket one's probably right up there. I'll probably put it at two. I think it's hard to compete with the Miracle on Ice. I don't know if there's a better upset. What is kind of upsetting is hearing the news about Darren Waller. He has retired. And my question to him is for y'all actually is, why did Darren Waller retire? And I know what y'all are thinking. You're thinking he's retiring because Daniel Jones is his quarterback. That would be a completely valid reason. I would understand that. That's not the case. It's Darren Waller is retiring to pursue his music career. Probably that's also not it. The real answer to this question is not funny and not something I can make joke. I'm already you know uncreative enough uh, to to the point where I can't even think of the word for whatever the opposite of creative is. But yeah, I'm not going to make any jokes about this. I'll just tell you what Waller said and his explanation for why he retired. Darren Waller said, last season in New Jersey, we played the Jets on October 29th. I got hurt that game. The following week, we were playing the Raiders in Vegas. I started to feel this fever coming on. It started to build. I started to get chills and stuff like that. By the time I pull into my parking garage in my condo and get out of the car, I'm shaking violently, like uncontrollably. I couldn't breathe in my bed the next morning, so I called 911. The paramedics responded, and I ended up spending 3.5 days in a hospital. Um, it was pretty clear I almost just lost my life. I don't know if I really feel like I would have died, that I would have felt good about where my life was going. So unfortunate news. But at the same time, you kind of have to be a little glad for Darren Waller because he's putting his health first. He's putting his life first. He's got other passions, like I mentioned. He's got a music career. He's a rapper, and he actually just released a country song recently. And I'm not gonna shit on Darren Waller at all here because I loved watching him play. He was a great player. Obviously, didn't work out in New York, but super fun to watch. Seemed like a good dude. He's a decent rapper. But as far as the country song, if I'm gonna get canceled for a take, I hope it's this one. We need to keep rap and country separate. Why are we mixing these two genres? I love rap. I hate country music. There's no crossover. They have nothing to do with each other. Why are we trying to make country rap songs? Not that Waller is making a country rap song, but this is just a little tangent I'm going on here. But yeah, keep keep rap and country separate but equal. Not damn. This is the result of Modelo drinkage. Um, Last week I said I wasn't gonna drink on this podcast. I guess I lied. Um, but yeah, keep country out of rap. Yeah, if Kendrick Lamar ever releases a country song, I'm gonna fucking lose it. I'm gonna fucking lose it. And that's $2 for Auntie Julie right there, because that's how much I hate country music. But enough about me. Let's talk about some WNBA, and let's talk about why isn't Caitlin Clark on the Olympic team? Well, we don't know. We don't know. Um, and that's why this week's first year interruption is with Rebecca Lobo, a former NBA player. She's going to dive a little more into the decision and what kind of went into everything there. But yeah, I don't want to speculate on it. I'd be hard pressed to think that there's 12 players in the WNBA more talented than Caitlin Clark. I think she's 15th in scoring, and then she's like fourth in the league in assists. And even if there's 12 players better, I doubt there's 12 better shooters. There's no way there's 12 players who are better at shooting than Caitlin Clark. She's one of the greatest shooters to ever live, at least from a women's perspective and an overall college perspective. Um, but yeah, I personally think she should have been on the team, but I'm not a coach, nor do I know anything about the WNBA. Like I said, I don't know hockey, I don't know cricket, and I really don't know women's basketball outside of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and Arike Ogumbawale. Arike Ogumbawale is the real point here. Everyone's talking about Caitlin Clark getting snubbed. The real snub was Arike Ogunbowale. This year, she's averaging 26 points, 4 and 5. Um, and yeah, it's unfortunate. We would have liked to see Ogunbowale play for the U.S. women's team. She's a sensational player. She had one of the best goosebump moments ever. She hit a buzzer beater in the championship to win it all for Notre Dame. Um, but yeah, she's the one who got left out. And according to athlonsports.com, it's unknown why Ogumbawale was left off the roster, but the main belief is that her Nigerian ethnicity makes her eligible to represent another country. Ogumbawale has yet to speak on her plans. I hope we get to see Enrique in the Olympics, whether it's for Nigeria or USA. If she plays for neither, then I'm gonna have to revisit this and ask the WNBA WTF, because she's arguably a top 5 player in the WNBA. There's no reason for her to be left off the roster unless, of course, she does want to go play for Nigeria, which would be awesome. We'd love to see it. We'd love to see some competition between another country and the U.S. women's team, uh, who are heavily favored to win the gold here. Um, but yeah, last thing on Clark before I hand it off to the expert Rebecca Lobo, would be the mission statement from the U.S. Olympic Women's website, which is the USA Basketball Youth and Sports Development Division is tasked with the development of youth basketball initiatives that address player development, coach education, and safety while promoting, growing, and elevating the game. That last half a sentence is pretty key. Is pretty key here. Promoting, growing, and elevating the game. The promotion and growing of the game, the biggest thing that's happened in this sport, maybe ever. In Caitlin Clark, she's grown the game more than anyone. Angel Reese would beg to differ with me, and I think Angel has. I'm getting on a tangent, but I think Angel has a point that some people are watching because of me too. It's not just Caitlin, and obviously it's more eyes are focused on Caitlin, but her beef with her little beef with Angel Reese on the court, I think generated a lot of buzz. So Angel's got a point there. But yeah, if you're talking about pure basketball talent, I don't know if Clark is better than those players that got selected. But yeah, if you're gonna take the promotion, growing the game angle, then yeah, absolutely, Caitlin should have been on the team. But let's get to first year interruption. This week's first year interruption is with Rebecca Lobo, who is a current analyst and former WNBA player, and she shines some light on this Caitlin Clark situation and why everything went down as it did.
Was this the right or wrong decision with Caitlin Clark being left off this team?
And I'm going to start by giving you some context, Greeny. When it comes to forming the women's Olympic team, it's a 3-year process. They started having training camps back in February of 22. They had a training camp in April of 22. Then the World Cup in the fall of 22. They had multiple training camps throughout the course of 2023. And then this year in February, they went overseas for exhibitions. They had a training camp this April. So all of the women who were in the pool and all the women who ended up reportedly being on this roster participated in many of those. And why is that important? Well, because of the timing of the WNBA season. The WNBA takes a break during their summer season for the Olympics. And the Olympic team has 7 practices before they participate in the Olympics. So all of these women that you're seeing on the graphic that are reported to have made the roster have played with one another. All of them have had opportunities now over the course of the last couple of years to learn Cheryl Reeve's system, to learn one another, to learn some of the opponents that they're going to face in the international game. And Christine brought up Diana Taurasi specifically. I spoke to players who were at the training camps who said Diana Taurasi played great. She's a 5-time Olympian. She brings a type of leadership that no one else can. Now, Caitlin Clark, through no fault of her own, was not able to participate in any of those training camps. She would have either last year in April of 23 or in April of 24, except her team was playing in the Final Four. So she did not have that chance. And the other point, Caitlin Clark is an exceptional player. She is going to be a multi-time Olympian as long as she stays healthy. The conversation that no one adds is, who are you taking off of that roster to put Caitlin Clark on? Are you taking off Diana Taurasi? As I mentioned, she performed exceptionally well in those training camps. Are you taking off Sabrina Ionescu or Kelsey Plum, who helped the team win the gold medal at the World Cup? The one player that is interesting that people should keep their eye on in this conversation is Chelsea Gray. When she was healthy a season ago, best point guard in the world. She has not played a WNBA game yet this season because of a lower leg injury. If for some reason she's not able to return, but they expect that she will, or if any other member of the backcourt that has been reportedly named to that roster has any kind of an injury, I would expect that Caitlin Clark would be the backcourt player that could get added to this roster. But you have to look at the context in which the selection committee was creating this basketball team.
So good stuff from Rebecca Lobo there. I think she offered some much needed context here. It's pretty apparent that, yeah, if she missed that many training camps and wasn't able to be there to, create some team chemistry, it'd be tough for her to just jump into the Olympics. I kind of disagree with that. I think basketball is a sport you can pick up on chemistry pretty quickly as I burp into the microphone. But yeah, I think the narratives that, she's being left out because players are jealous or petty or, they feel some type of way about Caitlin Clark. I don't think any of that really holds that much stock. and yeah, like you think about the 92 Dream Team Olympics, Isaiah Thomas in the famous Last Dance documentary talked about how he was left off the team despite being one of, if not the best point guard in the NBA. And what happened there was Michael Jordan said, "No, you can't be on my team." So, if you're gonna think of that theory in this context, it'd be Diana Taurasi saying, "Yep, I don't want Caitlin on the team. I don't need that attention. She's not good enough to overcome the distractions that she'll bring here." Um, but but yeah, Caitlin's sitting there, and she's just saying that Isaiah Thomas quote to herself is, "I met the criteria to be selected, but I wasn't." Um, and that's all I'll say about that. Um, go USA, go women's basketball. And yeah, if there ends up being a reserve spot, I hope it goes to Caitlin because I think it'd be great for the sport and she's fun to watch. But I'll be watching women's Olympics basketball either way, either way. And so will my next guest, which is Dr. Jones. Dr. Jones, Dr. Jones, calling Dr. Jones. Here is another interview with Dr. Jones. We talked some NBA finals, talked some NBA draft, a little MLB. Not really that much MLB, but some NFL as well. Talk to him, Doc. All right, now pulling up to the pod is one of my best friends in the world. It is six-time Trash Talk League champion Dr. Jones joining us again. Doc, thanks for doing this. I know it's late night, so I appreciate it. Ah, that's all he had to didn't even have to say anything. Just put up the number six like you're Kobe. Just
Yeah,
that
thanks for
that's a
that. I'm hoping for this podcast to be far more productive, clear, concise than my last appearance. But you never know where it's going to go. So,
Yeah, I'm sure it will be. I'm sure we won't run into any, controversies with Diddy and Drake like last time. Um, let's let's get into it. My first question for you is, sorry, I was lagging there. Okay, my first question is, how is your elbow? Because I think I might have given you a second degree burn the other day.
you know, I I was surprised how well it has healed, and I know it was an accident, and I generally feel that uh, my body reacted more positively to it because of the way that I reacted to it and
Hmm.
my ability to breathe, stay calm, step away from the situation, realize there's an accident, talk to you about it, and just keep moving on. And I felt like there was um, less of a like, let's attack this thing, from a neural connection. I don't even know what I'm
No,
necessarily.
you were quick with that. I did it, and then I'm like, fuck shit, and then I saw you ran off. I'm sure you went to go get some cold water on
Well,
it.
I keep some Neosporin burn relief cream in my car
Oh,
because I'm working the oven and with hot stuff all the time. So I'm like, I'm putting this on right away. And that helps numb the area and stuff. But yeah, it didn't even blister up. So don't worry about it, Matt.
all
Uh,
right. Well, I'm glad it's not too bad. I do apologize. Hopefully it doesn't leave a scar. Um, but yeah, let's talk some NBA finals. We're in the midst of it. Celtics have been dominating so far. They're up 2-0 in the series. So you kind of have a head start here. You can kind of cheat on this a little bit. But what's your official NBA finals prediction?
so my one thing was Boston, they were the favorites going into it, and they had the first two home games. They're expected to win those games. So I'm not writing anyone off, but the pure dominance that they showed in game one and then game two they had an off shooting night from my perspective, and they still won. So it's hard to not see Boston going on to win this thing.
Hmm.
Um, but Luka Doncic, it's funny, like what, a week and a half ago they were saying is the best backcourt in the league.
Yep.
Now Luka Doncic needs more help.
It's
So,
true.
and not to say that Kyrie hasn't been underperforming in this playoffs,
Hmm.
but I, from what I have seen, Boston is allowed to play a form of defense that I'm not a big fan of. I could be if it were consistent. I feel like they get away with being physical on the release of layups and these different things. So, like, a prime example uh, was under a microscope because it was the one of the last plays where they blocked the shot on the dunk attempt, the Celtics.
Yeah.
Jalen Brown actually pushed him in the back. And
Mm, that's right. Was that was Derek White? He had like a chase down. Was that
yeah,
that play? Okay.
he came in to help and block it. But that kind of stuff is happening all game. And this is kind of reminiscent of how defense used to be played in the NBA, where you get to keep your hand on somebody's hip
Hmm.
and control them, which is big time because not only are you getting them off balance, but you are actually able to keep your center of gravity and your stability a lot better if you have your hand on somebody's hip.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. I
Yeah.
see Derek White do that a lot,
Hmm.
and
Interesting.
I don't know. Then you get the push-offs from Jason Tatum. I mean, he's
Yeah.
with his arm every time. I
I was gonna
mean,
say it's like Michael Jordan had his hand on the hip in that one play, the shot.
yeah,
You get the push off in there.
yeah. So I just I'm okay with the NBA wanting to let the game be played and officiated in a certain way. I just think it has to be consistent, and they need to get all the refs on board. If they want to be, I think if you want to get better calls at home and give the home team better calls, that's fine. But I want to see that reciprocated in Dallas as well. And I don't think that's the complete difference maker in this series, especially game one. They just got ran out of the gym.
Yeah.
Porzingis was a huge X factor, and people didn't know if he was going to play. And he's been playing a little bit injured, so apparently. But
Doesn't look injured. He's been dominating.
yeah, so,
Goodness. Um, but yeah, so initially I had this series, I had Mavs in 7, but like after these two games, I think I'm up to Celtics in 5. So my question would be, do you think the series is over?
yeah, like I said, it's really hard to write somebody off when they haven't played at home yet.
Mm,
But you're my also other problem is I was never a big fan of Jason Kidd as
okay.
a coach.
Well, he coached your team for a little bit,
Yeah.
right?
And we saw a big improvement once he left and Budenholzer came in. And I was a firm believer that we would get better, but I didn't think that that was because Budenholzer is so good. I think it was because Jason Kidd was really not great. And granted, it's tough. He was experimenting. He was trying to make Giannis point guard, have him. I mean, and that's been experimented with too a little bit, but
What a great idea that was.
I mean, you see him build the wall every time in the playoffs that he brings the ball up. I still don't think that they've unlocked his backdoor cutting and slashing and lob threat ability. But
Yeah.
that's we're not talking about the Bucks right now. So
We'll talk about them later.
yeah, we can talk about the Bucks later. Yeah, we'll have to see some adjustments here. The the big thing is both these teams are really ISO heavy. They like to isolate
Hmm.
and beat the other player one on one. And there's a couple different ways you can play that defensively. Boston has chosen to play switch defense. So they give up the switch really easy. But Kyrie, he's out there, he's trying to get the switch, but he's getting the switch on a Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
How how great is that? I mean, you got guys out there for the Celtics that like Derek White, like Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. They can all guard 1 through 4,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
potentially 5 sometimes in certain situations. So I just see Boston winning the series when if that's what is continued to be played both sides of the ball. Because uh, Dallas, they don't have the defenders to be able to play that type of defense, to switch and to stop the one-on-ones. And there's just so many different creators and options on Boston to where Drew Holiday can look like he's out playing Kyrie Irving by just getting basically open looks at the rim.
It did look like that game too. But yeah, no, it's just a bunch of open layups,
Yeah.
basically.
I mean, you look at the box score, you're like, this guy is cooking. It's like, I mean, I'm not saying I would get in that position by any means, but I'd probably make the shot if
Right.
I was in that spot.
No, but that's a good point with you with on Kyrie on the switches because if he's getting switched out of their starting five, Tatum's probably their worst defender, and I wouldn't even consider him a bad defender. At worst, he's
You
a
get past
decent defender, you know?
You can get past Tatum. He is faster, but it's tough to finish around the rim with him, especially if you're getting the lower body contact, like I was talking about earlier. And then Kyrie, he loves to do a bunch of fakes, but it's almost like he doesn't even give you time to react to the fake because he's already on to the next one. So it's like boom, boom. And then
Yeah.
it looks phenomenal when he makes them, but
Haven't been following this series.
yeah, if it's not falling, you kind of look a little goofy. So I mean, and the other thing is like against Minnesota, who I was a big fan of, but they're they're switching, and then they're getting Gobert on the freaking 3-point line against Kyrie Irving or Luka.
Yeah.
We got to see that happen, and that's a lot different, than what they have going on. And I don't think that their big guys are dominant enough to make them pay inside, and that
Hmm.
uh, they're Derek Lively is a rookie. I think he's going to improve. And Gafford is great at some things, but if you have quick, strong guys like that, like Drew Holiday is so strong. I mean,
Hmm.
they lost Marcus Smart, a defensive player of the year. I wouldn't have given it to him, but
He's right up there.
he was the type of guy that could do that and hold his own in the post for a smaller guy. And they were able to replace that Drew Holiday and Derek White.
Upgrade.
Oh yeah, in my opinion, I think
Yeah.
he's a I mean, it's funny how quick narratives change
It
because
happens so quick. The Kyrie narrative, it only took 2 games and it's completely flipped on its head.
yeah, now everyone thinks he's a choke artist, whatever.
Yeah.
It
All right. Sorry, what were
will
you gonna say?
light up for sure though. I mean,
Yeah.
the thing is Dallas is shooting 24.5% from three in this series.
Jeez. I think
It,
Kyrie's over.
yeah, so I was looking at his and he was 0 for 5 and 0 for 3 from three.
Oof. So okay, so I wasn't able to get you to call the series. You're not gonna you wouldn't, you said, I gotta see the Mavs play at home before I say the series is over. So the next question would be, what do you think the Mavericks have to do in order to get back into this series? Not even to win it, but just to make it a series, to win a game or two.
I think I like double teaming pressure and ball handlers.
Okay.
some guys out there are smart enough to make the right play, but I think you just gotta make other guys beat you. And I mean, I guess that was kind of the theory, and that's how Drew Holiday ended up going off.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, he's the weakest link out there. So,
Hmm.
I mean,
Pretty strong weakest link.
it's really tough because the Celtics were the favorites, I thought, coming into the year after you look at how complete their roster is.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
just their bench was a little bit lacking. So if you could somehow find a way to neutralize, not necessarily neutralize, but match their offense and their starting lineup and get your secondary unit players going and get them to beat theirs. But I mean, that's guys like Derek Jones Jr.,
Exum maybe Hardaway.
yeah, some Hardaway, like Jaden Hardy has been playing. It's hard to bank on those guys winning you series or a playoff game. I mean, we saw it with Minnesota, like Nikhil Alexander Walker stepped up big, had some nice games, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, something that
Basically, nuclear games from Luca and Kyrie, but
that's all they can do.
expect.
Yeah, I mean Luka's got 30 in these two. Obviously, we perceive Kyrie as underperforming. Is it that simple? That
Hmm.
if Kyrie puts up 30 with Luka's 30, they can make it a series, you think?
They can make it a game. I
They
think you
can
got to
make it a
take it
game.
game by game,
Yeah.
and it's easy to look at it down two, but Kobe said if they told you at the beginning of the season you had to win 4 games and you'll get the title, wouldn't you take those odds? Wouldn't you jump on that? And
Dang.
I don't know if they have that type of leader or dog mentality in the locker room. Maybe Luca or Kyrie can step into that role, but I mean, it's almost got to be Kyrie because he's been there and done it before. A lot of these
Yeah.
other guys on Dallas haven't. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of them came from bad teams and losing scenarios. Like PJ Washington was on the Hornets his whole career.
Hmm.
What does he have to offer in terms of motivation in the finals?
Right.
You got to know something about winning and determination. So, anything can happen. People can dig their heels in, but oh man, it's
Yeah.
not. It's if I'm being realistic for sure.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. And the only guys with a ring are what, Drew Holiday and Kyrie. So we'll see if Kyrie can bring some of that Cleveland magic. But not looking great for the Mavs. But like we said, series is not over yet. Mavs still got to play at home.
So,
So this question might be a little bit premature. But who do you think's gonna win Finals MVP? Because for me, I'm expecting the Celtics to win this series, but after 2 games, the presumptive favorite Jason Tatum, I don't think would be the MVP. I don't know who would get it after 2 games, but I guess yeah. Who would your Finals MVP be if you had to predict that?
so far, the best player in the series has been Luka Doncic,
Okay.
I think.
Okay, I can agree with that. Where are you going with this though? You think he's gonna win the MVP?
But obviously, I mean, if they win, he's gonna win MVP.
For sure.
But Jalen Brown, he's leading them in points. But right now, Jason Tatum, I mean, he's got 10 rebounds, 8 assists a game.
Ooh.
That's pretty
He's just
solid.
not he's just not shooting great.
He's just not scoring well, but sometimes it's not all about scoring. And if you're
Hmm.
getting the 8.5 assists, especially if you get that up to 10, it's like, hey, I just made the right pass, made the right play. They're queuing in on me as the best player on the team, and I made them pay for it. So
So you still think Tatum's got a good shot at it?
I think he does, and he's got the name recognition.
The name recognition. It's true. Okay, my last question is, is really stupid, but my last question about the finals here is Tatum overrated? Who we were just conveniently talking about here.
Those questions are so tough because it's like in comparison to what and
It's
who.
so subjective, I know, but it's like
Because I want to say it sometimes, like, dude, you're so talented. Just attack the rim. Why do you got to shoot a jump shot every time? Try to prove something. But he's proven to be good enough to get his team to the finals more than one time.
true.
And debatably the best player on the team most of the time. So I don't know. I mean, it's it's a very well stacked team.
Yeah.
So it's it's tough until you take those other players away to see if he could do it without them. You know what I mean? I don't think he could necessarily, but who's saying he's bad? Probably haters.
Yeah.
Who's say he's bad because I'm a Bucks fan. I don't like the Celtics, whatever. But like,
Yeah.
because I'm preying on his downfall doesn't mean I think he's you
Right.
know what I mean? And
Right.
like we were just talking about with narratives, like people were saying Kyrie Irving was so good. He's like all this, like so like a week and a half ago. The same
He's
people
matured so much, all this stuff.
are probably the
Yeah.
same people that comment on every Instagram post that Klay Thompson went 0 for 10 in a elimination game.
Just haters.
Every
It's just
NBA
a hate.
post, I swear. It's funny. It is kind of, it's like,
Shanghai Sharks own.
oh yeah.
That's me in the comments, Jones. Um, but no, yeah, obviously I don't want the Celtics to win. I don't think you want them to win, but I do kind of want Jaylen Brown to win Finals MVP just because I would think the next year of takes and narratives would be hilarious
Yeah.
after all this time of Tatum being their guy, and then it's like, wait, is he our guy? I don't know. I just think that'd be kind of funny, but obviously it wouldn't really take away from how good Tatum is.
Well, I almost always want the East to win.
Really, but not this year.
People hate on the East and say we suck and how much better the West is.
West is way better, Jones, especially the 7 seed.
All right. But,
No,
you know,
no, that's a good point though. That's been the narrative for what, 12 years, you know?
yeah. So, I mean, part of me is like, yeah, shut up, West Coasters. We can play too. But I'm not going to deny the ease of the matchups to get to this point for um, both Indiana and the Celtics. So,
Yeah. But I think, yeah, but I think people are gonna really backtrack on that. If they beat the Mavericks, no one's gonna sit here and argue the Mavericks were, a depleted team because the Mavericks went through the West Gauntlet like you're talking
yeah,
about. So
exactly. So
I
it's hard to discredit the Celtics if they beat them because it's like, well, these guys were who you elected, not really, but to
yeah,
represent you, you know?
right. But the Eastern Conference Finals, that was Mickey Mouse. That was Mickey Mouse for sure.
Yeah, it was tough.
But yeah, I think that's all I got on the finals. The NBA draft is coming up, so I wanted to talk a little bit about that. Um, what do you know about Alex Sarr? All I really know is he's Australian, and I think he's going number 1 overall. That's about all I know. Do you know much about him?
I think the more interesting question is about the teams and the draft lottery results and the
Rigged.
that Yeah, that the Falcon or not the
How did
Falcons.
the Hawks win that? What did
Hawks.
the Hawks had like a 1% chance or some stupid
Yeah,
shit?
very low. And it's funny because there's a lot of talks about them either trading their star guard and Trey Young or DeJounte Murray. They ended
Hmm.
up moving neither of them, but they ended up landing the number one pick. And it's like, okay, so do you take Sar and try to just move forward with that? Do you take Sar and trade one of your guards and try to fill out the rest of the roster? Do you trade the pick and try to get more of a win now piece? It it's a tough question. And
Yeah, they're in an interesting spot. Huh.
and a lot of the things I was hearing was that funny enough, the Spurs are interested in either of the guards. I think mainly Trey Young.
The Spurs are interested in them?
Yeah, because they want to get
Dude, imagine DeJounte Murray on the Spurs. He would be
yeah.
so fire. Wait, did
He's,
he play for them already?
I
Oh, he already played for.
I thought you were joking. I don't even know, but
No, DeJounte used to play for the Spurs, I'm pretty sure.
yeah, no, he did. Yeah, they traded a bunch of picks for him. And that's why the trade with them is interesting because they own a lot of Atlanta's future first round picks.
Oh, so he's trying to get him,
So,
try to
like
get some back.
they kind of need those back if they're going to a rebuild because like if you're not going to win a lot of games, then you're the
They're
Brooklyn
just,
this
yeah,
year.
they're just stuck in, or
And then
they'll just be
it's
stuck
like
in playing purgatory.
okay, so we're not good enough to like make a playoff push, but we don't have our picks, so we're not going to try to tank.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, they need to find a way to get their picks back if they're going to go into a rebuild.
Hmm.
Um, I haven't looked enough into the exact prospects. I know that he's been playing in Australia. He's actually French, so
Okay. So he'll be on the Olympic team
Gobert,
with
Wemby,
Wemby. Ooh,
Sar lineup
a
17.
big three of
Yeah,
bigs, dude.
yeah.
Damn.
Which is funny because like who was the representative? Tony Parker before, like a little guard.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be interesting. I don't even know. I guess we got Embiid and Giannis. I don't that France seems to be the biggest threat to the US in the Olympics this summer, I think. I don't know. Maybe there's some maybe Serbia or Slovakia can get or Slovenia. Maybe those
Australia always
guys.
put together a decent lineup too.
Yeah.
Maybe Ben Simmons will play. See.
Is Ben Simmons Australian?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
He'll probably like say he's gonna play
And then
and
we
not.
can play.
Um, okay, so that's pick one, Alex Sarr, probably. So let's talk about who's going number two overall. Bronny James Jr., of course.
Second pick in the second round, or
Yeah, yeah, that's probably more accurate. Second pick of the second round. Do you have a sense of where you think Bronny Jr. might get drafted? Do you think he's gonna get drafted in the first place?
I think he will.
Okay.
I don't know how much I want to put into it, but I'm pretty sure I read something that the Lakers said that they weren't looking to draft him at pick 17,
Yeah, that seems a little early.
which makes sense.
But
But
pick 47, they probably would.
yeah, so the other thing is like as a franchise, where is it worth the possibility of getting LeBron James? How much are you willing to put into that?
I'm praying the Bucks draft him.
See, that would be really cool. And he'd probably actually want to come to the Bucks, but if the Jazz draft him, he's just gonna be like, all right, thanks for drafting my boy.
You don't think he'll go to Utah?
No, I think he's notoriously
Oh, him and Laurie Markkinen, dude, that'd be sick.
I don't know
Um,
if he has some people, but I think he made some comments about how Utah sucks.
Yeah, he probably did. But yeah, me and John talked about this a little bit last week. Um, where he was John was saying, I don't even know if it's a 2-for-1 deal, but I like where your head's at, where you're kind of like, LeBron will do it, but he's not going to do it for just any team. So that
Yeah,
makes a lot of sense to me. Um, Last question here on the draft for you. Do you think the Bucks should draft Zach Edey? Because I think he'd be a perfect fit.
I mean, I really am interested to see how his 3-point shot does because he was an elite free throw shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Usually a good sign of able to consistently hit 3-pointers. So, like, if you look at college players that shot well from the 3-point line, but if they're really bad at free throws, they notoriously can't translate.
Hmm. Interesting. He said Zach Edey said he's wet in the interview. I don't know if that's how he phrased it, but he said he can shoot, but his coach didn't let him, and Jana was calling bullshit on that last week. But I don't know. We've
I
never seen him shoot a three.
don't necessarily think that. I mean, you're able to see Brooke Lopez develop a 3-point shot halfway through his career in the NBA.
Yeah, it's true.
And I don't know.
Splash Mountain.
Yeah, we just really need a big man that can move their feet.
Hmm. Yeah.
I think he would be a nice fit. But yeah,
You do? Okay.
like I said, he needs to be able to
Stretch the floor.
explore a little bit, even if it's from the mid range, you know. But
Yeah.
I have confidence due to his high free throw percentage that he has a decent enough touch that he can. I mean, that's
Yeah.
where
Sure.
until Giannis can get his free throw percentage up, he shouldn't be thinking about shooting 3-point shots.
Ooh, interesting. Interesting. So okay, let's keep talking about the Bucks here. Are you excited that Darvin Ham is back?
I mean, he was there for two of Giannis's MVPs and the championship, right?
I think so, yeah, before the Lakers snatched him up.
Yeah. Um, it's hard to judge a former Lakers coach.
Especially one who played with
Like after
who
like
coached LeBron.
after 2 years, they just turn into the scapegoat, and it's like this is why we didn't do well. And it's
Yeah,
like
I think he took some unnecessary hate. I'm not he didn't I don't think he did a great job this
I
year.
don't think he's a
But
head coach, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's a bad assistant coach.
I don't think he's the reason the Lakers were only able to beat the Nuggets in one game. I don't think that was all on
Yeah,
Darvin Ham.
yeah, and a lot of those games were really close, actually.
It's true. They're calling it the
I think he
closest
received
gentleman's sweep
some
ever.
criticism on his rotations,
Yeah.
so but he's not in charge of that as an assistant coach. So I don't know. I actually wish I knew more and got a better breakdown of the assistant coaches and what they were in charge of on because like I feel like with football it makes a lot more sense where it's like, oh, he's the DB coach, he's the offensive coordinator. They have like more specialty things.
Right. Do they have like a shooting guard coach and like a power forward
Yeah, like
coach?
maybe I don't know. Like, what is his specialty? What was his role on the Bucks prior? And can they put him in that role again and have it? Because he obviously did well enough in that position. I I think I mean he worked underneath who knows
Budenholzer?
like Atlanta even
Oh, really? Okay. I didn't know that.
for a long time.
Oh,
So maybe
cool.
it's just like, well, you put your time in, so now's your time to get a shot at a coaching job. Like I don't really know how. sucks.
Yeah.
But as assistant coach, I'm not mad about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Should be
I'm not necessarily happy about the head coaching position, but
not a fan of Doc Rivers. Okay, but last question about the NBA, and then maybe we can finish it out with some NFL. Any moves, any additions, maybe new coach like you mentioned, anything you want the Bucks to kind of do in this offseason? You have any thoughts on that?
um, get Dame some friends.
What?
I don't know. People just
Oh, you mean like another player?
no, just like
Oh,
they just kept talking about how lonely he was in Milwaukee,
I feel
and
like that
like
was a Stephen A thing, but maybe
yeah,
not.
no, that's more of a joke.
So
He's
yeah,
fine.
Stephen A is like he's miserable in Milwaukee. Dame's like, I love it here.
Yeah, um,
But yeah, you think there's like you think the Bucks should make a trade? Any, free agents you got your eye on? Outside of the draft, of course.
the problem is like we have kind of used up most of our draft capital
Mm,
to make trades.
okay. Yeah, that's how you got Dame.
Dame, a lot of second round picks to get Jay Crowder, who sucks. And like we paid Brooke Lopez, paid Chris Middleton. Like we end up putting out a lot of money to try to like maintain the core and keep Giannis happy.
Hmm.
Um, which is priority number one, I guess. You want to keep Giannis happy and keep him in Milwaukee.
Right.
But it's just tough when you're relying on Pat Connaughton to play like heavy minutes and be
Hmm.
defensive impact player. I mean, we just don't get the veteran minimum guys like other places do, like
Sure.
other superstar landing spots. I mean, we got Malik Beasley. He was
Lakers
playing
legend.
for a minimum contract. Like, no hate on him, but like he just wasn't really built to be a starting shooting guard necessarily, especially next to Damian Lillard, who is better at defense than people give him credit for. But you need a better defensive shooting guard next to him.
Marcus Smart, perhaps.
Um,
I know you're
not
not a
really take
huge
to get
fan.
him. I'd take him.
You would, okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. The Bucks are kind of like I know you're not a fan of Doc, but it's so tough to judge what the Bucks should do because they didn't get a fair shake in the playoffs. Giannis obviously didn't play a single game.
It's
Dame and Chris missed some time, so it's like what how do you really even evaluate this season? It's tough.
I know. I mean, it's almost worse than having everyone play and getting destroyed because you have no idea where you fell short
Yeah.
because everybody got hurt.
You fell short in health. So it's like that doesn't that doesn't answer too many questions.
And maybe it would be nice to get somebody to alleviate some of the regular season pressure on somebody like Giannis to where he doesn't feel like he has to go hard at the end of the season like that.
Hmm.
He's still a 7 footer who's constantly getting pushed, fouled,
Yep.
landing weird. Like the fact he hasn't had more injuries before this is actually pretty miraculous. You don't see guys like that not take a toll on their feet, ankles, Achilles. I mean, look how oft injured Joel Embiid is.
Too
So,
much. Yeah. So you guys need
so
another big man. You need another power forward, maybe a
somebody that can take a
tall.
beating for Giannis, and we need some young players. Is really that's my big thing, and we need to play some of our young guys as well. I
Where's
mean,
AJ Green's minutes? Right?
AJ Green, Andre Jackson Jr.
Dude. I
He's really
I
dope.
I had no idea who Andre Jackson Jr. was. I watched the one of the Pacers games and I'm like, that dude just had his head above the rim on that putback dunk. I was baffled. I'm like, who is this guy? So you guys, I mean, sounds like you got some nice pieces. Is that one of your main issues with Doc Rivers, kind of?
Yeah, I mean, it's another thing that goes back to rotations where it's just like you didn't give these guys the minutes in the regular season when we could have been doing it. And then we have injuries and we have old people underperforming, and then we put them in the game, and it's like, what do you expect?
Yeah.
Like, how are you supposed to come in and perform super elite? And they're hungry. And these guys, even if you play them short spurts of time, these young guys have something to prove. They're gonna hustle, lay their body on the line, more athletic. You can press with them. They'll pick people up 94 feet, you know. You're
Yeah.
not getting Jay Crowder to do that.
Not getting Pat Connaughton to do that.
You're not getting Pat Connaughton to do that.
Hmm.
And like as good as they can be at shooting sometimes,
Sometimes you need some fresh legs.
yeah, you do. And I just think the Bucks need to get a little bit younger because we turned from a young, exciting team into like the oldest, slowest team in the league. It's, what are we doing here? That doesn't help our two superstars because they are two superstars. Um, but
Yeah.
you also can't make them carry the entire load.
Right.
And honestly, they can carry the load on offense if you get some young guys to play some defense and to
Yeah.
hit a couple kick out jump shots. I mean, you don't have to be extraordinary. You don't have to create your own shot and isolate on everything. Like those guys can take over. You just need to be able to find your spot. I also think we're a little stagnant on offense. And it's just like, okay, let Dame cook. Let him cook. It's like,
Too
okay,
much ISO.
that's cool. I mean, that's where things have gone. But um, I think the watching the West, speaking of that, like I watch the Warriors, I watch the Kings. They set a lot of off-ball screens. They do a lot of handoff actions, like Sabonis. He's setting, he gets the ball, does handoffs. People are rolling around him,
It was like
and
Hodag back in middle school.
yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Why can't Giannis be doing that for Damian Lillard? I mean, who's getting around Giannis? And the screens from Giannis are so bad. They're just like rush, try to get the switch, kind of rolling. Like you just need somebody. I mean, I get it. You're a superstar. You don't want to set screens all day. I mean, but it's like, what are you, Dwight Howard? You're too good to set a screen. That you're going to put yourself out of the NBA. Want to post up ISO every time? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah,
Well, hey, maybe maybe it sounds like maybe the solution is draft Bronny Jr., sign LeBron. I'm just trying to speak this into existence so I can become a bandwagon Bucks fan. But
yeah, just hire me.
hire Jones as GM. He's a what, 6 times plus how many other championships? Probably 10-time champ.
I'm out of fingers, but to get that Bill Russell, 11 rings.
Chasing Bill's legacy. We love it. So all right, well, let's finish out the show with a little bit of NFL.
Bill Russell's goaded.
That's facts, and no one can debate that. Um, so let's talk some NFL. Let's talk some Packers. I was hoping you could rate the Packers draft class for me. Maybe we'll do a A through F, grade school rating on it. What did you think about what we did in the draft?
Um, Honestly, I was a big fan of the draft. When I go by it, um, pick by pick, sometimes it can be a little confusing. I was surprised that we picked a running back in the third round in Marshawn Lloyd. But if you go back to, I heard this statistic, it was really interesting about LaFleur. he was the OC for the Titans back in the day, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they had Derrick Henry as their running back and Dion Lewis as the second running back. And he got like not that
40%.
many less carries than Derrick Henry.
Then the Hall of Famer.
So I think he constantly wants to not just have a bell cow running back. I think we can temper our expectations on Josh Jacobs a little bit.
Hmm.
I still think he's going to be phenomenal and be really efficient and in a lot better situation than he was in Las Vegas.
Hmm.
Probably better yards per carry and whatever. I mean, we have a pretty good O line as well.
And he's not going to be facing a stacked box every play.
Exactly. Um, Sorry, I kind of went on a tangent there, but I really I like Morgan. I think the thing with the Packers, we love linemen who have and players in general who score our high RAS out of 10.
What's
It's
RAS?
relative athletic score,
Okay.
and he did really well. He played a lot of tackle, and he could play tackle. We also like players that can switch and play different positions on the offensive line.
Sure.
So he played a lot of tackle, but I could easily see him starting at right guard this year.
Cool.
But he could shift around. There's talks of Zach Tom moving to center, and I don't know. It's interesting. I like him. I think he's going to be good because the Packers are really good at developing their offensive linemen in general.
Hmm.
Um, he was a first round pick. We normally are just like taking late round, middle round guys and just turning them into stars.
It's
So
true.
I must really like this guy is all I gotta say about that.
Yeah,
Um,
it seems like we might have reached a bit on him, but we tend to do that in the draft.
yeah. I mean, people were saying that, but there's also talks of Washington trading up to get him.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I think if you have a guy you're in love with him, he's there. You just take him, you know. And we're in kind of a luxury spot where it's like you don't have to draft a receiver.
Oh
We
yeah. I feel like the rest of the league doesn't
drafted two
really know it yet.
last year.
Yeah.
Our offensive line could use a little bit of depth just because of our loss of Yashin Hyman and
Runyon.
Bakhtiari.
I think we lost Runyon too. Yeah.
Yeah, John Runyon went to the Giants, I think.
Hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, we need to fill that position out. So there's a position in need, and
Yeah.
he seemed to scheme well with the Packers,
So
and he could play tackle or guard. And then what? I need to pull it up. There was a couple safeties that we got that I really liked. I like,
I think Bullard out of Georgia, right?
yeah, he's really cool, and he can also come into the box and play nickel.
Oh,
I think he could potentially take. They're especially this early in camp. They always give the veterans the starting spot, but and I think they want to start with Keyshawn, and they paid him at the nickel spot. But I think Bullard is better and will eventually take over that spot potentially.
sure.
And we drafted two other safeties on top of it as well, while also signing Xavier McKinney. So that was a spot that we really addressed in the draft.
Yeah,
Um, Other
definitely.
spot was middle linebacker. We lost Devondre Campbell.
I'm sad. He used to be my favorite player. Now he's on the 49ers. Damn it. But okay, so what's the rating here? A plus? What do you got?
Plus.
A plus?
I was going B plus, A minus.
Okay. I can't be too biased.
'Cause I didn't love this Hopper guy, middle linebacker,
Hmm.
um, but he's looked pretty decent in some of the stuff I've seen. I
And we got
didn't.
the best linebacker in the draft class, Edgerrin Cooper,
I love
baby.
Darren Cooper. I don't know if you remember me talking about him before we were up to draft, saying I wanted to draft him, but
Kinda. I
he's
kind of remember
basically
that.
like another Quay Walker. Um,
It's not a bad thing. As long as he doesn't get the personal fouls Quay had his rookie year.
but in terms of speed and skill set, I think
Mhm.
he's great. Um,
Okay.
but it's funny because this Hopper guy, I don't know if you've seen any of the training camp stuff, but he's got these really sweet big dreads, and he's wearing number 59.
Oh my gosh, he's
And I
stealing.
was like,
He stole DeAndre's whole
I'm like,
flow.
dude, this
It's
guy
not
is exactly,
Devondre's.
he looks exactly like him.
Stole
Um,
Devondre's whole flow, bar for bar, man. Damn. I
yeah,
might have to get his. Or I don't even have to get his jersey. I can just put some duct tape on my
yeah, exactly.
Devondre one, change the name. Be real easy. Um, but yeah, I just got two more things for you here. Dr. Jones, thanks again for pulling up. I was hoping, um, would you like to do a new segment with me?
Yes, indeed. Let's do it.
All right. Yes, indeed, little baby. This new segment is called Packers Record Predictor. So I'm just gonna go through the schedule. We can go real rapid fire here. And just you tell me win or loss, and then we'll find out what our record might be at the end of the year, if you're down.
Are we doing preseason as well?
Um, Cleveland, Denver, Baltimore. No,
I'm
we
just
don't
kidding.
need to. I don't. What's his
Broncos are cooked
face?
though.
We just got a new QB, right? He could be good in the preseason.
Yeah, honestly, I mean,
We picked a backup.
I like Clifford too. He's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Preseason will be interesting, but all right, let's do the let's pick the regular season. Starting out
What the
for
people are here for is preseason predictions. Come on.
ex- yeah, we'll do preseason predictions in August. That'll be fun.
There'll be
Just
a
do
little
so
hype around that.
just do it we just start betting on preseason games. Just sweating out a pick with all the fourth stringers in there. But all right, let's go through the schedule. Week 1, we are playing against the Philadelphia Eagles in Brazil.
It's a
Who you
home game.
got? It's a home game.
It's a win.
That's a win. All right. Week 2, Indianapolis Colts.
Dub season.
Week 3, Titans.
Dub season.
Week 4, Minnesota Vikings.
Sam Darnold. He's seeing ghosts of Packers past. Dub season.
Week 5, Los Angeles Rams, who you're repping right now.
I'm actually going to the game. I won't be wearing Rams gear though, and that's gonna be a dub.
Hey, let's go. Let's
Oh,
go. Popping out in LA with the Green Bay on. All right, we're at 5-0. All right, Cardinals, week 6.
ooh, Marvin Harrison Jr. He's getting clamped by Jair Alexander.
All right, we're 6-0. This might be our first loss. Week 7, home to the Texans.
It's hard not to give it to the Texans. I got to put a loss in there. I can't
Yeah.
be the biggest cocky MF
Yeah.
in the world.
Yeah. All right, that's fair.
It's gonna be a great game though. Would
Should
you
be.
know what any of these are primetime games? Or does it not say?
Yeah, I'll let you know none of them I mentioned. The Eagles one is 7:15 p.m. game. The rest of them are Sunday afternoon. All right, next week is week 8. We got the Jaguars.
People are sleeping on the Jaguars, I will say.
The
But
W or L? Dub.
I think it's a dub.
All right. Next, the week after that, we got the Detroit Lions.
Number third.
November 3rd, home to the Lions. 325
Lions are at
on
home.
Fox. We're playing the Lions at home. Yep.
In Green Bay. Sorry.
In Green Bay, yeah.
Okay, we'll take that one.
All right. Week 10 is our bye week.
The Bears.
No, week 11. Week 11, we are at
2
Chicago.
bye weeks in a row.
All right, that's a win. We got 9. Week 12 is home in Green Bay against the 49ers.
You can give us another loss.
3 p.m. game. Yeah. All right. Week 13, Thursday night football. Or actually, no, I think this is Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving football. Prime time versus the Miami Dolphins.
It's gonna be such a good game. You
Who
gotta
you
go
got, though?
Thanksgiving though, bud.
Who you got, though?
Packers.
All right. Next week is also Thursday night football on Prime Video. We are at Detroit.
Lions are winning that game, unfortunately.
All right. And the week after that, we got the Seattle Seahawks. That's a Sunday night football game.
Geno Smith is going home in a coffin.
Okay. Week 16 is a Monday night football game in Green Bay against the Saints.
We're gonna somehow lose this game.
All right. And week 17, we are at Minnesota.
We're gonna lose that game too.
Week 18, last week of the season, home in Green Bay against the Chicago Bears.
Packers are gonna win.
All right, that puts us at 12-5. I think that's probably good enough to win the division.
I
think
think
so.
that's fair, right?
At 12-5, I like that. And yeah, there's always going to be those weird games. Yeah, losing to the Derek Carr and the Saints, and we'll lose a late one to JJ McCarthy and the
Yeah,
Vikings. There's always a weird one. Like we lost to Tommy DeVito this year. It's never.
yeah, exactly. It's you can't just. I mean, I could even see like the Jags
Yep.
going astray. I mean, the Titans randomly. I mean, who knows, dude? I mean, the Titans receiving core is kind of legit.
First three weeks with Philly, Indianapolis, and Tennessee is low key tough schedule there. But hey, we love it. Obviously, go Pack, go. I just got one last question for you here, Dr. Jones. You're wearing the hat. We are going to be attending the game tomorrow, actually today, because it's 2 a.m. But my last question for you is, can the Brewers finally make some noise this year?
I think you're deaf if you haven't been hearing it.
Mm,
Oh, I
that's a
think they
bar.
got some offense, and that's what I've been looking for with the Brewers. They've had good pitching for a long time.
But that's only one side of the ball.
Exactly. And I just like having young guys that I can get hyped about. And obviously we bring some veterans that just like outperform. It's amazing. Like if I'm a veteran MLB player who had a down year, just go to Milwaukee. You're gonna play great and get paid to leave us instantly. And then I mean, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
you just
Like,
play there for a year and then you get a big contract after.
yeah, it seems to happen a lot.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
it's just tough because we don't have the money to compete with other organizations, and that's where baseball is interesting.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
The
the
discrepancy is
always going
wild.
to into.
The fact that the Dodgers and Yankees have like 5 times our payroll is just it's
Well,
not fair.
you argue and be like, oh, I remember people would be like, oh, Ryan Braun's so overpaid, or like, it's like, yeah, but
Who
it's
else are we gonna
nothing
pay?
compared. Like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah. They're,
Like,
they're probably saying the same thing about
he
Yelich now, but
would have left. Like, if you didn't pay him, he would be somewhere else killing it. Like,
yeah.
some people didn't like the steroid shit, whatever. Same thing with Yelich. where like
Mhm.
people are like, oh, he's kind of, but I mean, he's been good.
People even say that about our rookie Jackson Churio.
Yeah,
It's like,
people are haters.
yeah.
They're dumb. We pay a fraction of so many other teams, and we outperform every single year. And I think it's one. I really need to go to other ballparks to legitimately make this claim, but I think it is one of the most fun ballparks to go to just due to the ability to tailgate and
Oh yeah.
because outside of the city you have a lot of parking and accessibility.
Sure.
And the open and closing dome is so cool to me. I don't know how that's not a staple everywhere. But it's just like, hey, it's nice out. Let's open this up. Oh, it's crappy. No rain delay, no nothing.
The
Like,
Chicago Cubs could never.
no, exactly.
The
So,
Cubs, the Cubs didn't even get like lights until like 2000.
yeah,
They
exactly.
could only play day games. But nah, that's yeah, it's just the outdated traditions in baseball.
Yeah, and baseball is so funny in that dimensions can be different in the different fields.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh yeah,
The
left pitch,
Yankees, the Yankees
20%
have the
more.
shortest.
Yeah, like
It's bullshit. The Yankees have the shortest right field fence in the league.
they ring
They're
just.
literally just making it easier to win games for
And it's like,
themselves.
okay. I mean, I guess everyone hits on the same field, so it's in theory
Right.
cool, but I don't know. When you're talking about records and all these different things, there's definitely certain asterisks when it comes to it. It's like, okay, well, of course you hit that many home runs. You played here, type deal.
Right.
But yeah, I'm excited. I got the grill. I got the cooler going. I got some summer shandies.
Hey, that's what's up.
I've
Yeah,
never
I'll bring a couple of these guys, some
cheering.
Modelo's, sponsor us.
Yes, please.
Um, but yeah, brother, thank you for inviting me to the game, and I'll see you in about 12 hours here, I think, something like that.
Like that.
All right, brother. Well, hey, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it, especially at this late of an hour.
Bucks and six. This is probably in reverse, but whatever.
No, it's not. It's not in reverse. We can see it. You already know. But yeah, brother. We'll have to do another one soon. And yeah, I'll see you at the tailgate. Let me know if
With
I should
my
pick anything up.
takes. Want to be one me in Fortnite, and yeah, let's go. Go
Yeah,
pack.
can I 1v1 you in Fortnite at like 4 a.m. when I'm done editing?
We'll see if I'm still awake, but
If you're awake.
I
All
probably.
right. Well, if not today, then tomorrow. But yeah, brother, I'll see you at the game. And yeah, thanks again for coming on.
Yeah, thank you. I hope I'm probably maybe a little more coherent, a little more educated. I hope.
Way more. There was a few too many Seagram sevens flowing last
Yeah,
time around.
yeah.
But
Thank
hey,
you
man.
for listening, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be on this podcast again in the future, and I hope uh, it inclines you to click on again and try to get some takes from me and Matt. He puts a lot of effort into these things and a lot of time, and I don't know. I just think it's really badass.
Hey,
So,
dude, I appreciate it. That
me,
means a
it's my
lot.
own curse of the podcast. Forgive me. Thanks,
Hey,
guys.
yeah, next episode we'll do the blackout pod. We'll both get blackout drunk,
Let's put a Patreon, Matt.
and then yeah, then we'll start a Patreon. All right, man. Well, I'll see you later.
Hey, see you, bud.
Peace out, brother.
Thank you again, Dr. Jones, for pulling up to the pod. Appreciate you, brother. And I will see you at Miller Park shortly here. And that's Miller Park to y'all. If you call it AmFam, I will throw a tantrum. So don't do that. All right, let's do the favorite moment of the week for everybody, which is the Goosebump moments of the week. Starting off at number 10, Bobby Witt Jr. ties the game with a triple and this is after the Royals overcame an 8-0 deficit. Incredible stuff.
And now Bobby Witt, who represents the winning run.
On the ground, fair! The game is tied. Bobby Witt Jr. is ripping around third base. In there with a game-time.
Number 9, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa walks it off for the Blue Jays.
The winning run is at third with 1 out of the 9th. The infield is in for the Orioles. And in the air to right field. It is deep, and it is a game winner. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa with a line drive base hit to score Kevin Biggio, and the Blue Jays beat the Orioles.
Number 8, Nelson Velasquez walks it off after overcoming an 8-0 deficit.
Line, Crawford makes a great play. Out at second, no play. Unbelievable.
Just a gut punch of a loss for the Mariners, who led this game at one point 7-0 before the Royals even grabbed a bat.
They win it in the 9th, 10.
Number 7, Austin Slater walks it off for the Giants.
High drive to left. It is off the wall.
Number 6, J.J. Bleday walk-off homer.
Swing and a drive. It might be. It could be. It will be. A walk-off winner. J.J. Bleday wastes no time in Game 1 against Toronto. The A's have...
Number 5, Cal Raleigh walk-off grand
There's the pitch to
slam.
There it is right there. He crushes it. And the Mariners have gone home a winner. A 3-run jack by a big thumper, Cal Raleigh. It's a 7-4 Mariners victory.
Number 4, the Mets with a walk-off double play in the London series.
With the pressure on his shoulders, and Castellanos' bat explodes, and they're going to get the runner at home. They're going to get the double play to win the game. What an end!
A chopper right in front of the plate. Terens, the catcher, picked the ball up, spun, stepped on home plate, threw to first. Oh my goodness.
Number 3, Logan O'Hoppe with one of the weirdest walk-offs you'll ever see.
Moving back for it. It's Cabbage out near the wall, and Cabbage caught it. No, he didn't. It's gone. It's a home run. O'Hoppe hit it out. The game is over. It's a home run. The Angels win on a walk-off. Cabbage thought he had it, but it fell out of his glove. Logan O'Hammer.
Number 2, Cam Canarella with a game-saving catch. Incredible.
It is deep. It is caught. Oh my goodness! That did not just happen. What? Cam Canarella doing this? What they do?
They're calling it the biggest upset in sports history as USA beats Pakistan in cricket in the T20 World Cup. Number 1 moment of the week.
The red, white and blue of USA has overcome the 2022 finalists. The Stars and Stripes are flying high and proudly in Dallas, Texas.
The Stars and Stripes are flying high in Dallas, Texas, which is coincidentally where Game 3 is. And Game 3 of the NBA Finals is going to be how I close out the show today. Usually I close out the show with a prediction. Totally forgot a show closer today, so I scrambled quickly to make a pick. In Game 3, the Mavericks are favored by 1.5. I like the Celtics plus 1.5 because, as I stated earlier in the show, this series is over, and the series is going to start in Game 3 when the home team loses and the Celtics cover. So give me the Celtics, even though I want the Mavericks. And yeah, the only way we can salvage this situation is if deep sigh is if Kyrie can do it, and Kyrie can shock the world. And yeah, and leave Boston fans feeling flat. Kyrie's got the world on a string. sitting on a ring, and just cut the damn show. This is a disaster.